Hello, people of God. Change doesn't knock from the door saying that I am change. Change doesn't knock to the door and it says that I am change. Change starts with the people. And I am trying to say that you are supposed to change as a nation. Changing your ways, changing the ways that you do things, changing the things that you do. We have to pray very, very, very much, and we have to fast as well as a nation. So, what I am saying right now is this: we are to pray for the nation and to pray for the current leaders that are leading this nation, for them to be wise and for them to receive wisdom and for them to accept the wisdom of God and for the God of heaven and earth to intervene in our lives and help everything that we do. Because God of heaven and earth isn't done with us. He is just beginning. He's trying to build something out of us. He's building something out of us, not just trying, but building something out of us. And he's saying that the things that we are doing right now are not good. We have to be a good nation. So how can we be a good nation? We can start by not throwing papers at the ground. If you want to be the next candidate, trust me, if you want to do this, follow the 10 commandments and include not throwing the paper around, and you see what God will do in your life. Start not throwing the papers on the ground. Start not throwing things that shouldn't be at the ground. And you should start by doing things that are godly. You might see me as a fool trying to tell you this, but I'm talking from a perspective of a prophet and an individual that has seen the generation failing. So I have seen the generation failing in the spirit and failing in the physical realm. So what we need to do right now is to be able to be speaking to God. You must not be speaking to God alone in this generation. I'm talking to the prophets that are around us and that address the nations. You have to pray for the people to be able to talk to God, because God is saying He's making prophets out of people. So what He's doing right now is this: with even a person who is who is who is learning about God should be able to speak to God and understand what God is saying. He's not just saying it by wisdom only. He's gonna say it by doing and by deed. So what we have to do right now is to worship God. So what I am saying right now is this: if you want to develop in spirit, pray and fast. Those are the most important things. And you must be friends with God if you want to enter heaven. Let's take it for an example: a rich man's gate. When you are poor, you can't come just knocking at the rich man's gate. When you knock at the rich man's gate, the rich man is going to ask, "Who are you?" and is not going to accept you inside unless he knows you. If he doesn't know anything about you, he might not accept you inside, because he might think that you are being a murderer in his house, or you want to be something else, or you want to steal something else, but you are actually poor. But the rich man has to understand and know you first to allow you to enter his gates. So that's the same way of God. God has to develop a relationship with you if you want to know God and to understand God. As I was talking earlier, I was talking about the nation. The nation is like this: our king is about to be dethroned because of God Himself. He's saying that it's like Saul. So it's like Saul. It's like Saul. So when he was in power, David came along and he removed Saul from power because of God. God of heaven and earth intervened in the story of Saul and the son of David. Saul was a donkey handler. and David was a shepherd. So Saul had not listened to the prophet Samuel. Samuel was just a prophet of God, and he was saying things that Saul didn't listen to. And then Saul, when he didn't listen, God intervened and changed the destiny into a twisted fall for Saul. David, allowing David to come in power. You see, in this story, I am the little David that is trying to tell you that you must be careful of what you are doing to the nation. I'm talking to the leaders of the nation. To the leaders of the nation, I have this powerful message to them. I need them to be starting to fix the roads. Yeah, you are fixing the roads to Bindura, and from Bindura to Harare. I have seen the roads that you are fixing there. I have seen them there. But what is wrong right now is Chitungwiza. Chitungwiza has broken roads. In Unit L, you can see that we have 10 provinces in this country, but you are not taking care of them. It's not just about the roads, it's about the well-being of the nation. You are saying that we don't have money, but we have a lot of gold. We have a lot of things that are needed to be addressed on. So he's saying distribute the wealth accordingly to how it's supposed to be. What I'm saying is this: the gold, it has to be not to be sold to foreigners, but the gold has to be sold to the to as a product which is finished when you're about to sell it to the foreigners. Don't just bring raw gold to the foreigners, he says. He says make your own companies that produce necklaces, diamonds, sell the finished product. And there are going to be a lot of minerals that will rise from this nation, the nation of Zimbabwe. There are going to be a lot of minerals that are going to rise from this nation. And there's going to be a lot of power that is going to be distributed to the ones that are righteous. So what I am saying is this: please, by the mercy of God, bow on your knees as a leader of the nation. You have to bow for your people, to pray for your people. Not us prophets have to just pray for the people. The leader of the nation has to pray for the love of God to be upon him when he leads the people, and he has to pray for love, or for love himself, to love the people, and for him to be loved by the people. And by doing the things that he has to do, he has to be fearful of God and fearful of who commands him. He has to remember who put him there, who is in charge of everything else. So I am speaking to those who are in power now. You have to stop all the corruption that is happening. The corruption of being cops, being bribed, and the corruption of you leaving the drugs in the systems. We have 10 provinces. We have to raise police officers from there that will read the drugs sections that are being in this country. God is keeping on saying about the drugs. The drugs have to stop. I'm speaking to the leader of this nation. May you understand one thing: the drugs have to be stopped. The drugs have to be stopped. You cannot run a country with drugs. Leave the drugs away from the country and then run this country. What I am saying is not a joke. And what I am saying is coming straight from God. And what I am saying is this: there is water systems that needs to be attended to. There is a lot of water that needs to be fixed. You know what I mean? The water supplies are coming in with water which is dirty. If you look at a lot of places that are being supplied by this water, the water would be dirty. It's making people sick and all that stuff. You have to get it right on that. and you gotta have to use the wealth. And there is this about these fuel stations that I'm hearing. The fuel stations have to judge a fair price of selling petrols and diesel. How can we have a diesel that is $50 and have a petrol that is $50, and then at the other stations we have another petrol that is lower than diesel, that is being sold at $40, $50. It is $54. And then there is this about the petrol which is dollar. There is this about a diesel which is $60. About those prices. So we got to change to see whose fuel stations are selling more petrol than are selling more petrol at a higher prices. Who owns those fuel stations? Who owns those fuel stations that are selling fuel at a high prices? So we got to look at that corruption. That is where I'm seeing corruption in the fuel stations. I'm seeing corruption in the transportation of gold. I'm seeing corruption in the gold panelers. There are people who are allowed to be small scaling gold, which is supposed to be run by companies which are companies of the government and companies of the nation. The gold has to be distributed well. God is speaking and God is saying that get the nation in order. This is the message to you rulers of the world. I want peace in this nation. We got to remember one thing. We are all going to heaven. Heaven is the final destination of all of us. So if heaven is the final destination, then what then would we make of a house that stays God in this nation? So we got to make this house a godly nation and a godly house. So listen to what I am saying. Watch more videos of what I am saying. This is the wisdom that I am spreading around. I am not joking. I'm talking about God. And this is Prophet Nicholas Nyakuromba speaking to the nation. I will bring more prophetic word, but I need solutions to be springing around. The music industry has to be changed. The whole nation has to bow to God of heaven and earth. He's saying, my people, I listen to you and I'm about to change things, but I need you to also change as I am changing things. But we cannot put new leaders without people who are changing. We can put a new leader and then we can put a lot of things, we can put a lot of problems upon ourselves because the leader will not be listened to. He has to be listened to, and we have to listen to what God is saying. He had to lead us.